I wish to tell you more about this book, more details about the story. Not really spoilers, and as said, the spoiler part is either way part of the concept because every chapter under the number has a brief description what happens in it. So it's really not that much about the exact stuff that happens because this is an adventure book, like the adventures of Conan. So this Michael Moorcock guy really started his career inventing this Eric of Manibane, who was the anti-Conan. He was very weak, he was already physically weak, uh, already on the throne, and his empire was, even though had good intentions, his empire was very depraved and evil. So he was really the original dark elf of Magic the Gathering, or what, AD&D, yeah, AD&D. Now, Corum is a different beast because if we want to identify the classic race, he's a white elf, but he really lives. It's not Tolkien's elf who, constantly interact with the world. This kind of race is really just withdrawn, living in their place with their all wizardry and technology and architecture and whatever. What they don't share, they don't communicate even with each other, so yeah. So as said, only 400 pages, and this is a trilogy, because back then the writers were not paid for or judged by the number of words written down, but the quality of their work. And they let you think, invent your own relation with the characters. This is why I turned to children literature. I really Quest of Del Toro. I will talk about it in another video. Anyway, so here it starts. Corum preparing to move out from the castle. He's a young adult in his race, even after a couple hundred years, and he just wishes to visit the neighboring, a couple months riding away, other elf castle, and then that's, maybe getting married or something, or just getting some rumor. This is where he meets the humans, and the humans are not the good guys, they are barbarians. And while Corum's race is of order, the human race is of chaos. Chaos is about change. It's not evil and malevolent, and order is not good as we know it, as we understand it, but kinda close, because change involves a lot of destruction, so, Corum gets captured and done. That torture scene. Game of Thrones only wishes to be this good. It's not necessarily gross. It's cruel. It's barbaric. It's really about demonstration of strength. And it's not the kind of awfulness liking so gore for gore's sake, it's somehow arousing. Yeah. He gets rescued by this mysterious Sasquatch-like being and brought to the humans who are living in this their own castle, which got cut by the ocean because there was this land bridge, but the ocean level just risen, and they got actually infected by water, so they are the good humans as far as we can see. This is where we get the second protagonist we have. We will have three. First is our hero Corum. Then this is the hero's love. And we will have the hero's companion, but only in the second book. This writer is so good, he can pull that off. So you don't need to introduce your war casting right from the get-go. Then there is all kind of deals and machinations. The point is, Corum is locked into this human castle, and he finds these old legends involving someone getting a new head. A hero got his companion a new head. It's actually the source, basic idea. This Corum, Swords of Corum, come from the Gilgamesh epos. There is something similar with Gilgamesh's friend. I don't know what his name was. Whatever. So they summon a ghost zombie pirate ship, and they travel to this island. The price of this is the baroness of this castle, human baroness, and Corum, the elf, got involved, but they can't make children, so that's absolutely half-elves are not possible in this universe. And they go to this island. The price is the woman, because the driver of the ship, the captain of the ship, is the ex-husband of this woman. And so Corum has now a motivation to rescue her too, and they arrive to this island of this wizard who has this deep hatred or rivalry with the lessest god of chaos. There is who is the knight of swords, yeah. There is the queen who is ruling another 5 dimensions, and the king who is ruling another 5, and that is the power structure also. So they make a deal, and Corum gets a hand and an eye. He hoped for his own, or at the very least something very similar to it, but he gets body parts of gods, deities. And he's trusted to just go there and kill the Knight of Swords. And he goes through a pretty straightforward fantasy narrative, a desert where he meets some remnants of his own race. This is not his plane anymore, but one of the other 4 of the knights reigns, and they all die. They help him. Right? There is a mutual rescue thing, and he flies away on an airship, and then the elves just decide to commit suicide because they live in a desert, they have no hope, and they lasted this long, and now they see that, okay, we have this Corum guy, and there is no point going forward. He either succeeds or not. We had enough. They are, I think, eternal, cannot die from age, and they all blinded themselves to not see the once glorious land, now a desert surrounded by a literal forever burning firewall, which is just there because chaos has no rules like order, you know. The fire needs nothing to fuel it. And turns out the wizard is actually the creation of the Knight of Swords, this chaos god. And the whole thing is going that Corum goes into this room, which is ruled by balance, so brings out the heart, and the chaos god will just follow it, and yeah, I'm much more powerful, no one can kill me. Actually, in all 5 planes of his, there is one body part like the brain and whatever on the others. But if you destroy any of these, he will die. And because Corum has the hand of a god, you know, the ending is obvious. Then they decide to try to conquer the second 5 realm, and they start to interfere with the Queen of Swords, Xiombre or something, that name. Either way, it is a much more complicated and much more, you know, one miraculous place, next miraculous place. First they visit the evil humans place, and they summon some minor gods, and they give them armies. And you know, Corum has this eye, it sees into into an anti-plane, and he can summon all kinds of creatures from there, and that is an overpowered skill, but there is a reason he doesn't use it. First, he finds this anti-plane very disturbing, you know, radiating earth, black sun, and all that kind of weird stuff. And then he summons the things there, and they kill his race, and you know, the remnants are too few, and that's why they commit suicide. Now, then, so obviously you don't want to look at his crimes, his mistake, and either way, so he doesn't summon, because he had to summon the undead elves. Then he summons them, and there is a power scale at the end. There is a battle with the army of these lesser gods, and at that point he has some really monstrous creature fighting them, but they are just mutated humans. And the text says the only advantage they had literally no chance at much lesser physical power, but the only advantage they had is they could not die. And they win. So he could summon literal demigods now, but at that point the ability stops working, understandably. Anyway, so he travels through plains and meets on the Queen's land, like a sentient lake which is made of souls, of course cursed souls, or meets these mutated humans and their leader who is stuck in a armor and cannot eat, cannot have sex, cannot do anything, just lead these mutated hordes, humans who pledged alliance to chaos, so they just get devolved, like in the Super Mario movie or whatever, and they mutated to all kind of man beast. Then he finds an army which turned into stone, but they are still living, they stay conscious, or they go through this desert which is made of dried mortal blood with a white river in the middle, which is made of the gods fallen there, because there was this mythical battle there. It's that level of fantasy, and at the end he finds a bunch of elves who have this super advanced sci-fi city with ancient alien pyramid cities and flying cars or whatever, and they promise they will fight for him if he makes a portal to his home 5 plane. Of course, in the end they succeed, and this so annoys the Queen of Swords. She embodies and interferes on the planes, and she's as big as the planet. And what the fuck are we supposed to do with this? And it turns out that balance appears, and sorry, you are not supposed to do this, so I win. And you are just banished from these 5 planes. It's very much like the twist when Aslan resurrects in Narnia, but this has a point. I like that. So the last part of the trilogy is, which is most planned, because it tries to be a cosmic horror, but the writer has no skill to it, because he's just writing Conan stories for all his life, but he has one more ace in his sleeves. The thing here is, there is this chaos storm that everyone makes mad and starts killing everyone in the vicinity, and if no one is there, they turn against themselves. So the elves are just gone. Yeah. If you had hope for them, no, they won't. This is the fate of the eternal warrior, eternal hero of the balance. They are solitude figures, cursed to be. And he goes through there is, on the remaining 5 chaos planes, there is not even a planet anymore. There are various deities living in their own realms, floating in free space. Of course, they have this elf fly ship which provides them, surroundings to survive and all that, but yeah, that's the only protection. There is all kinds of things. They even travel through time at one point. And my favorite thing is when they reach like the core of the wheel of the multiverse, which is a tower which is drifting through the whole thing, because there isn't just 3 times 5 plane, there are practically infinite one. And in that one he meets himself, because he's an archetype. So they aren't other 2 Corums, but they are other 2 heroes of balance from other planes, and they fight into this tower. When they're done, they all step out of it at the right place and time. Corum's goal is to find these 2 deities whose body parts he has, the eye and the hand, and their thing is they are independent. They don't make deals, they don't make any such obligations. But they decided, yeah, well, this Corum guy can be an Ujan, so yeah, why not? He would make a bit of inconvenience for us, even though we can just walk to any of the multiverse planes. And they kill every god on the 15 planes. And there is a final joke, very Watchman-like joke. You know, Watchmen, the movie and series, comic books. We are back at the start. Corum, one eye, one hand, totally exhausted. There is the human in the book, they call them Mabdan. King who mutilated him and led his army. His army just went away, so it's a one-on-one champion battle. You know, champion of order or balance, and champion of chaos. And sure, the Mabdan ruler is past his prime at this point, but Corum lost everything he had. He had lost his race, he has lost his gods, he lost his hand, his eye, and he just came through pure chaos, the raw material of chaos. It really seems unfair, but it shows something that the two deities who are independent, they are not invulnerable. They actually have to struggle to win their fight. They aren't just unbeatable God in the box, Deus ex machina. There is a story there. But the story is only implied. You are not told every single thinking which goes to a decision, which goes to an action, and the journey to the destination, to that action, and what are the consequences or that. Like, that's why modern volumes are like 1200 pages, and that's just one part of a 10-volume saga. This is a real good book, real good story, and it's just, I really wish people would read this, more people would not get lost in time.